Have you ever heard a ghost story that truly gets under your skin? Not one of revenge or anger, but of a loneliness so deep it reaches out from beyond the grave. Tonight, we re-talking about one of the most unsettling legends I've ever come across. The tale of the child of the abandoned house. This isn't your typical ghost story. This spirit doesn't want revenge. He just wants a friend to play with, forever. The story begins long ago. In a quiet, forgotten village, a happy family lived in a beautiful home, their lives filled with laughter. But one night, that laughter turned to screams. A terrible fire raged through the house, and in the chaos, their youngest son was lost to the flames. The family, heartbroken, eventually moved away, leaving the charred remains of their home behind. Over time, the house was rebuilt, but the land was never the same. A profound sadness had settled there, and something else, the spirit of the lost boy. Soon, whispers started to spread through the village. People living nearby reported strange, inexplicable sounds coming from the empty house. The pitter-patter of a child's footsteps running down hallways where no one walked. The faint, unmistakable sound of a wooden toy rolling across an upstairs floor. And the most chilling sound of all, the distant, eerie laughter of a little boy echoing in the dead of night. Naturally, the house became a place of morbid curiosity. Daring teenagers and paranormal enthusiasts would venture inside, hoping to catch a glimpse of the infamous ghost. Those who did came back with stories that would make your blood run cold. They described seeing a small, pale boy standing silently in a doorway, his figure almost transparent. His eyes, they said, were the most terrifying part, dark, hollow, and empty, staring right through them as if looking into their very souls. His face was a mask of sorrow, a sadness so profound it seemed to physically chill the air. But the real terror didn't begin until after they left the house. This is what sets this story apart. The boy doesn't stay behind. He follows. Visitors would report hearing those same small footsteps trailing them on their way home, always just a few paces behind, stopping whenever they stopped. When they got back to the safety of their own homes, the horror continued. Some would catch a fleeting glimpse of the boy's pale face in a mirror, standing right behind their reflection. Others would wake up in the middle of the night, sure they heard a child's whisper in their room. He had followed them. He was no longer confined to the ruins. As the years went on, the legend grew darker. Travelers passing through the village, unaware of the local law, would sometimes camp near the old house for the night. And sometimes those travelers would simply disappear. They vanished without a trace, leaving behind only their abandoned campsites. The villagers had a chilling explanation. The boy had finally found the company he so desperately craved. He had dragged them into his lonely world, a place trapped between the living and the dead. Those brave or foolish enough to investigate these disappearances reported even more disturbing activity. Toys, left behind by previous investigators, would move on their own. Lights would flicker on and off inside the house, even though the electricity had been cut for decades. And sometimes, on the wind, they'd hear a faint, plaintive voice calling out, "Play with me." Legend says that if you answer that call, even with a whisper, your fate is sealed. You will become his next playmate, and you will never be seen again. Today, the house still stands, a monument to tragedy and loneliness. Its windows are broken, like vacant eyes staring out at the world. People who dare to enter now speak of sudden icy winds that whip through the rooms on still nights, whispers that seem to come from right beside their ear, and shadows that dart just at the edge of their vision. No one stays past midnight. They know the stories. They know what happens to those who linger too long. The Child of the Abandoned House is more than just a campfire tale. It's a warning, whispered from one generation to the next. A warning about loneliness, about loss, and about the things that can follow you home from the dark. So if you ever find yourself near an old abandoned house and you see a small, sad figure in a doorway, turn and walk away. Don't look back. Because once you've seen him, it might already be too late. Thanks for joining me in the shadows tonight. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the dark. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, don't answer if you hear a child's voice calling from an empty house.